Posted by you/WiscoGirl04. I, 24F, live in a rented house with my boyfriend and roommate. My father, 56M, has been dating a woman for the past 3 years who was widowed in 2020. For simplicity, I'll call her Kate. For the past 3 years, Kate has been going through probate as a result of her late husband's death. During probate, my father has repeatedly volunteered us for tasks without asking first, my brother and me to help with anything and everything involving Kate. Currently, my brother and I are owed over $5,000 from money we gave to help her out on multiple occasions, and my father is owed over $10,000. The list of things we were asked to do got ridiculous. Some examples: she fired her probate lawyer for calling her sweetheart, so I had to research how to file documents with the court. Her late husband was in tech, as am I, so I was tasked with going through all 18 computers and sorting through all the data I could recover from them. Her late husband also had simple encryptions on hard drives, which I had to decrypt and then sort through that data. Between this and the previous task, I sorted through over 60 terabytes of data in those 3 years. These are just a few examples that I'll come back to. The problem is that probate finally got around to selling Kate's house. Her house was over 7,000 square feet and was sold for a couple of million because of the area. She refused to look for other accommodations and didn't move out any items as the closing date approached. Knowing that she would lose all her belongings when the closing hit, my father asked if they could move some of her items to my house. The original deal was that I could sell the items in my house to get back the money I was owed. Then any extra funds could be split between Kate and me. Thinking it over, I initially agreed because she had a 500 square foot closet full of designer purses and shoes, so I thought I would have no issue getting my money back, and it wouldn't take up too much space since I have a spare room where I could store it until it's sold. The day before closing, we rented a U-Haul to move Kate's stuff to my house, and it was a disaster. She had an entire RV garage full of stuffed animals, old toys, and damaged furniture. She has 2 cats, and the furniture was scratched and torn up. I protested, but my father insisted that I'd still be able to recover my money from this stuff and started loading the U-Haul. It took 6 trips with the largest U-Haul to move some of her items out of the house. We only stopped because there was no more room in my house to store anything. She ended up having to rent another 8 storage units and a 2-bedroom apartment to get the rest of the stuff out of her old house. I started sorting through the items to see what I could sell and found that at least half of them were cheap toys, the kind you'd get from a claw machine. Of the remaining items, the only valuable things were a backyard furniture set, which the cats hadn't ruined, and some Squishmallows. I listed the furniture set, and within an hour of it being up, I got a call from Kate. She screamed at me, claiming it was listed too low and that I could get more money for it. She thought I was lowballing the price so I wouldn't have to split the money with her. Since that incident, she's told my father every time I list something from my house that doesn't match the price she wants. My father has scolded me more than once for stealing from her because I'm not splitting every cent I make, even though the deal was for me to get paid off first and then split any extra. I finally snapped yesterday after being accused of stealing from her yet again and told my father he's lucky I'm only asking for $2,000. He told me I should be thankful to even get that much from her and that she shouldn't owe me a dime. What he didn't know is that I kept logs of exactly how long everything took me while I was doing favors for them. I also looked up how much a freelancer would typically charge for each of those tasks. I told him that, in fact, I saved her almost $450,000 in work that I did for free and that he's lucky I haven't gone to probate to list my services as a creditor. I've already spoken with a lawyer and have everything I need to proceed with that if necessary. He was appalled and demanded that they come take every item from my house since, according to him, I was stealing and couldn't be trusted anymore. I told him that for that to happen, Kate would need to pay me rent for the storage space she used, then I'd release the items. Since she changed our deal, I felt completely justified in saying she owed me rent for the space. My dad did the math for 1 storage unit for 3 months, the amount of time the stuff has been here, at the lowest price he could find, which was about $400. I reminded him that not only did I have 6 storage units worth of items, but I also had temperature control because everything was inside with AC, and that the cheapest price for that was $300 per month per storage unit. So, the total actually came out to $5,400. He got so angry that the matter wasn't discussed further, and he left. I then sent a text to both him and Kate stating the following: since the terms of our original agreement have changed, I no longer feel comfortable storing your items. For breaking our initial terms, I'm asking for the $2,000 owed in debts, in addition to $5,400 for storing your items in my home, with an additional $1,800 added on the first of each month until all items are retrieved. I'm giving a 90-day notice, at the end of which the items will be transferred into my ownership as per our state's law, and I will dispose of them as I see fit. If you decide against retrieving the items and do not pay at least the $2,000, I will be forced to file against the estate for the entirety of the debts I am owed, which could potentially amount to more than $450,000. Please notify me of your decision either by text or email. Thank you. My brother is on my side, But I've been getting nonstop calls from my dad and Kate, saying how terrible I am and that I can't back out of the previous deal. They insist that since the items are hers, she can come and take them whenever she wants. I feel that if she wants to take her stuff back, since that was how I was supposed to recover my $2,000, she should have to pay the $2,000, along with the rent for storing her things here for free for months. My boyfriend and roommate think I should charge her even more, as they've seen firsthand how much I've done for her and believe she's being unreasonable. So, I came to Reddit to see if I'm crazy in being unreasonable or if I'm justified. Update 4 days later. A ton of stuff has happened since I last posted a few days ago. I appreciate everyone's comments and advice because I was feeling really 50-50 from all the gaslighting and am very grateful for the clarity, both good and bad. I decided to have a garage sale to start really selling things and getting stuff out of my house. We made this decision the day I posted, and I had the garage sale today. Kate was alerted to the fact that I was doing this, and on Friday night, before the garage sale, she went over to my brother and dad's house. She demanded they negotiate a deal for her to get a 50-50 split of any money made in the garage sale without my knowledge beforehand and without me being there. I got a call from my dad at 9 p.m. stating that they had come to this conclusion and that this was how it was going to be tomorrow, aka today, and that I just had to accept it. Side note, my brother did not agree to the terms. He sat silently after voicing that he thought I should be part of the discussion and was shot down. I had said that I am recouping the money she owes me and that only after I recoup that amount would the possibility of splitting the money even remotely occur. Kate started raging and calling me and my boyfriend, who wasn't brought up nor part of the discussions at all, so it really just felt like she was trying to get under my skin, every name in the book, screaming that she owed me nothing and that, if anything, I owe her for bringing me into some relevance by helping her. She then started threatening me with physical violence. My father abruptly hung up the phone after those comments, but I was told that she was raging at their house for another good hour before leaving. After my father hung up, I immediately texted him and Kate, stating that they are not allowed on my property, and if they come, the police will be called. That was the last communication I had with them Friday night. This morning, our garage sale started at 7 a.m., along with others in the community, and we were all set and ready to go. Kate and my father showed up at about 7:05, and I promptly stood up, pointed off my property, and said they were trespassing and needed to leave. Kate walked over to the table, grabbed as much stuff as she could carry, and started screaming that it was her stuff and that I was selling it illegally. She began throwing items off the tables and breaking things, yelling that she could break her own stuff. She brought a few things to the edge of my property, so I followed her to the edge, raised my arms straight up in the air, and shouted that she needed to leave. She started attacking me while my arms were still up in the air, trying to get back into my garage to break more things, but I was an athlete all my life, and she wasn't getting past me. At this point, neighbors were watching from their homes as Kate continued her blind rage, screaming and attacking me. My father tried to intervene by moving me out of the way, but I was still able to keep her from coming back onto the property. My boyfriend and roommate, who were outside when they pulled up, both called the police. My roommate's mother was coming by to pick my roommate up for a baby shower and witnessed the whole ordeal as well. When Kate figured out she couldn't get past me, she stormed off, screaming as she went. My roommate's mother, who had only heard stories about Kate but had never met her, asked what was going on. I said, "That's Kate," and she understood immediately. However, my father, not knowing who he was talking to, said to my roommate, "This is all her stuff, and this woman is illegally selling it in a garage sale." I was baffled, and my roommate, knowing the situation, replied, "You and I both know that's not only untrue, but the fact that you would lie about that is horrendous. You should be ashamed." I then pulled out my phone with proof of Kate saying I could sell the items to recoup money, and my father realized he had no leg to stand on and left. I knew Kate was on the phone with the police, telling them a bogus story, so I called my brother, asking him to come to my house since he has all the proof copied and recorded, so the police could see there was nothing fishy going on. When he heard what my father had done and said, he wanted to call him to ask what happened. When my brother called me back, he said he would be at my house in 30 minutes. He arrived just before the police did. Kate claimed that not only did I steal everything, but that I also shoved my father to get to her and assaulted her as well. However, she had no marks to prove it, while I was covered in red marks and bruises. My brother provided all the evidence to the police while they took our statements. They determined that the only person breaking the law was Kate, and she was arrested for trespassing and battery against me. She was only a block away when she was arrested, and she threatened to come back and finish the job in front of the police, which wasn't very smart. Thankfully, though, we sold out of all the toys, about 60% of the stuffed animals, and made over $1,000 by selling plushies for $1 each. My father came back around 10 a.m. and wanted to speak with me. My brother supervised. My father said I wouldn't have to worry about Kate or him any longer, as I was being disowned and he was never going to speak with me again. My brother screamed at him, but his mind was made up. He said he loved me, but it's for the best, and then he left. I've already lined up a therapist for next week and have a temporary restraining order against Kate. I'm waiting on a date for her court case, but we'll see. She can't come to the property or within 500 feet of me, so there shouldn't be anything major happening, but if anything else occurs, I'll update. Sorry for the run-ons. I kind of just started typing because it's so much and so fresh. Thanks again for everyone's kind words. Second update 12 days later. Things are progressing, so I thought I'd give an update since so many people were asking. Thank you to everyone for your comments and support. I tried to answer as many comments as I could regarding this post, but if I missed yours, I'm sorry. Firstly, we had the first court hearing about me being added as a creditor in probate this week, and the judge accepted my evidence. Kate is, of course, challenging it, which we expected, but with the evidence that was accepted, I will at least be getting some compensation for that. Secondly, almost everything has been sold. Kate threatened to have movers come and take everything out and made more threats if any items are missing. However, according to my lawyer, she's fighting a losing battle, as we have her on record verifying that we can sell these items. So really, she's just paying more in lawyer fees. Third, and what I find both hilarious and not so much, is that she cheated on my father. She called someone from another state in front of my dad, begging for money and help, and the man flew to our state that same day. My father was very distraught and is now fighting his own battle against Kate to get the money he's owed. My father and I have only spoken once since the incident, during which he doubled down on his stance that I was in the wrong. He didn't want to listen to why I was upset, likely because he had no defense for what he did, or didn't do. Everyone around me has also doubled down on not speaking to him and has gone no contact, which is what I've done so far as well. Kate's trial for trespassing, battery, assault, and more will be in the next few weeks. She was just served today. She's now threatening to sue me for illegal business practices, but according to my lawyer, she has no leg to stand on. He's confident that any action she tries to take, we have a strong case against it. I'm so grateful to everyone who has been supportive and offered advice. If anything else crazy happens, I'll update, but other than this, everything seems to be on its way to resolution.